We're going to move on now to the 4D Development, Technology Development Program Award. I'm actually presenting this on behalf of Rosalind Wright and the CTSA because they have supported this award, and it's really part of a larger umbrella of innovation around clinical translational sciences supported in part by the NIH. As you can read in your program, this program is focused on supporting faculty and postdoc technology development here at the Icahn School of Medicine to effectively and efficiently move new technologies through a process of discovery, design, development, and delivery, and that's where the 4Ds come from. This is a project that was begun, or I should say a program that was begun about 4 years ago, under the rubric of the Mount Sinai Institute of Technology, which is now the Institute for Next Generation Healthcare, led by Joel Dudley. And it celebrates team science and outstanding ideas by faculty and postdocs. And so I want to call up the teams represented by the four following individuals: Sandra Houten, PhD, Sarah J. Miller, PsyD, Christopher Strother, MD, and Douglas Unis, MD. Can you all four come up, please? So I'll just say very briefly on behalf of the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai and all of us who, thanks a lot, who recognize talent when we see it, congratulations to all of you, and we hope this is just the beginning of outstanding careers marked by innovation and entrepreneurship. Thank you. Congratulations. Photographer want to focus, so can we? Only the dean gets to speak.
Okay. Good. Just get the 40. Okay. Good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's now my privilege to introduce Lakshmi Devi, the Dean for Academic Development and Enrichment, who's had a tremendous impact on the culture of support and enrichment for our faculty. Let me just, oops. There we go, and she will present the Faculty Idea Prize.
Welcome to celebrations of SINAInnovations. It's my great pleasure to award the 2016 Faculty Idea Prize to Roland Friedel of Department of Neuroscience and Nadejda Tsankova of Department of Pathology. Before I go on to awarding the prize, let me tell you a little bit about the Idea Prize. This is sponsored by the Office of Academic Development and Enrichment. I am the Dean, and I'm joined by Liz Howell, who is the Associate Dean. And the prize, this is the second year we are announcing this prize. So this is for innovative research that can potentially be translated into marketable product. The eligibility criteria are that the applicant should be a junior faculty from 2 different departments working on a collaborative project that should go beyond what is possible through individual PI-driven research, with the goal of launching a multidisciplinary project that can create value through the development of therapeutics, devices, diagnostics, or digital health applications and/or grant applications. So we had a great response to the solicitation of the Idea Prize. We had 21 applications, both clinical and basic, and these applications were reviewed by 4 talented and very rigorous reviewers: Paul Kenny, Director of Experimental Therapeutics Institute; Alex Federman of the Division of General Internal Medicine; Paolo Buffetta, Division of Hemonc; and Stuart Anderson, Department of Oncological Sciences. The initial review was compiled and the finalists presented by a team of 3 consisting of Scott Friedman, Eric Liam, and I. And it is a great pleasure to award the 2016 Faculty Idea Prize to Nadejda Tsankova and Ronald Friedel for the exploiting Zika virus to identify novel targets to treat glioblastomas. If you would come up. So very quickly, what they proposed is to use the Zika virus, which you have heard of, as the one that causes microencephaly. It does that by targeting neural stem cells. What this team did was to use this very same, the possibilities of the Zika viral infection instead for the brain tumor stem cells. So by proposing to infect the glioblastoma stem cells, either stem cell line or human-derived stem cells, to then kill those cells, either in vitro or in vivo, and then to identify by genomic, epigenomic, and signaling assays the mechanism by which the Zika virus kills these cells. And this should lead into avenues of research defining the novel and effective ways in which Zika affects, as well as novel ways in which we can use Zika as a therapeutic, potential therapeutic. For that, I congratulate you. And please welcome in congratulating them.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I get that right? No? Yeah. Okay. The next prize is the Dean's Healthcare System Team Science Award. This builds on a concept that we underscored with SINAInnovations about 3 years ago that was focused on team science. And our champion here at Mount Sinai will present this award, Janice Gabrilov, who's the Director of Clinical Translational Science Education. I also want to thank her for her co-leadership of the MedMaker Challenge this weekend, which was a spectacular success. Janice?
This was our inaugural year for the Sinai MedMaker Challenge and the first year as well for the annual Dean's Healthcare System Award in Team Science. So the annual Dean's Healthcare System Award in Team Science is sponsored by Conduits, the Institute for Translational Science, our NCATS-funded CTSA, and it's been established to acknowledge and underscore the emerging importance of interdisciplinary teams to the successful translation of the scientific discoveries into meaningful advances in human health. This award is meant to recognize an outstanding cross-disciplinary or transdisciplinary research team for its innovative and impactful science that has advanced or likely will advance the detection, diagnosis, prevention, or treatment of disease. This research effort should ideally reflect a partnership between basic and clinical science, fostering crosstalk, and reflect a novel undertaking that would not have been accomplished by any single member of the team working in isolation. It provides a venue to acknowledge the importance of team science in solving complex problems significantly impacting human health and enable us to showcase outstanding role models of collaborative research. In alignment with the theme of therapeutic discovery of SINAInnovations this year, the selection of award recipients was focused on team science in translational therapeutics, which often requires participation of researchers from a broad array of disciplines. The talented and innovative recipients of this first year's award in team science are the MECONIUM, Exploring Mechanisms of Disease Transmission in Utero through the Microbiome Study Team, the MECONIUM Study Team. This is a multidisciplinary team involving both clinical and basic science expertise, including gastroenterology, obstetrics and gynecology, microbiology, genetics, epidemiology, mouse immunology, bioinformatics, and computer science across 5 Mount Sinai departments and institutes, including both MD and PhD investigators. The names of the investigators include And for those who are here, please come up. Inga Peter, who is the leader of this team, who is in genetic epidemiology in the Department of Genetics and Genomic Sciences. Dr. Jean-Frederick Colombel, a clinical gastroenterologist and internationally renowned inflammatory bowel disease expert in the Department of Medicine, the Division of GI, and co-director of the IBD Center. Joanne Stone in obstetrics. Hezong Zhu in microbiology in the Department of Genetics and Genomic Sciences. Jeremiah Faith, a mouse immunologist and in the Department of Medicine and the Immunology Institute. And Jose Clemente in bioinformatics and computer sciences in the Departments of Genetics and Genomic Science. And last but not least, Joanna Torres, a physician in medicine and gastroenterology. Their studies focus on reducing and even preventing the risk of inflammatory bowel disease in newly affected individuals through early manipulation of the human microbiome during pregnancy and has implications for reducing the risk of other immune-related mediated diseases. The recipients of this award were impressively responsive to the award announcement and embody just the type of teamwork we are hoping to highlight by means of this award and relevant to this year's theme of translational therapeutics. Congratulations.
I guess we'll give you the rest.
Oh, thank you very much.
It gives me pleasure now to introduce Dr. Basil Hans, who's the Dean for Academic Development, for Director for Clinical Translational Science. I'm going to get this right. 3 times as lucky. He's just so talented, he does so many things around here, I can't keep it straight. He's the Senior Associate Dean for Student Affairs and Career Development and Associate Professor of Medicine, and a great and loyal Mount Sinai faculty who's had a tremendous impact on our student culture and environment. So, Basil.
So thank you, Scott. I'd like to have Kieran, Brandon, Michelle, David, and Olivia come up, please. And while they're coming up, I'll tell you just a little bit about this award. The Q.E.D. award is given to a team of students who has actually invented a product through this course. Q.E.D. is a year-long course that focuses on illustrating to the students the cycle of innovation, starting from identifying a need through building or proposing a solution to that need, building a prototype, and actually as a final part of the project, they're presenting that prototype and their plan for that prototype to a panel of venture capitalists and executives from companies around the city. And then that panel votes on the awards and scores each of the teams. So this was one of our teams. Shortly after the course began, they met with me to describe what their plan was. They came to me and described the need of, in resource-poor regions of the world, clinical diagnostics are really unavailable. And they were going to create a handheld device using a smartphone that would test every possible disease known in the region. And as we educators often do, we don't want to stifle the creativity and the enthusiasm of the young. But in our back of our mind, we're questioning how far they'll actually get in this, because they set a pretty lofty goal. And suffice it to say that this team actually, at the end of the course, had a prototype of that device. They had taken a smartphone, they had written software to allow it to measure light emissions, they had tested an example diagnostic test, created the test, created the diagnostic device, and actually could measure things with this device. And when they presented to the panel There was no question who would win this award because they were leaps and bounds above any of the other teams in terms of what they'd accomplished and how they presented that device. So it gives me great pleasure to give them this award this year for the Q.E.D. award to these very talented students. It's 4 PhD students and 1 medical student. So thank you very much, and a job very well done.
Thank you, Basil. The final award is in recognition of a new event that we initiated this year. It started this weekend, called the Sinai MedMaker Challenge. Kevin Costa, one of the co-organizers, along with Ashisha Trija, Basil Hans, Janice Gabrilov, did a spectacular job organizing this event. You'll hear more about it in a second. Just a small personal anecdote. I came by Saturday and again yesterday. When I came up the escalator to the Annenberg space where the event was being held, I expected to hear a lot of noise. And when I came upstairs, there were about 80 people around tables, so intensively focused on their projects that there was literally no noise, just thinking and quiet conversation. It was really inspiring to see, and it's a credit to all the organizers for conceiving of this, and to Rama, Najib, and Jackie for executing it. It was a huge success, and I'll let Kevin tell you more about it. Kevin's an associate professor of medicine and cardiology. Kevin?
Thanks very much, everybody, and I'm delighted to be here to present this award for the first annual, we hope, MedMaker Challenge, creating novel technology solutions for healthcare focused on pain and fatigue. I'm glad to still be standing after this intensive weekend, and I just want to say briefly what this event was about, to hopefully give you an appreciation of what was accomplished, I think, and excitement for continuing these kinds of events in the future. This is a pretty intensive multi-day event, started Friday evening and ran all the way through Sunday, focused on this Healthcare Maker Challenge as a satellite event of SINAInnovations. This was hosted by the grad school and the medical school, and with a couple of key sponsors in particular, Salesforce and Persistent, as well as as conduits. This was the brainchild of Basil Hans, and he smartly left it to us to organize. Janice Gabrilov, who you just heard from, Shisha Treha, the director of the Sinai App Lab, and Pete Backrus, who's the lead engineer in the prototyping center. This was truly a team effort, and we couldn't have done this without coming together as a team, as well as this tremendous support from Rama Iyengar and her team, Jackie and Najib up in the dean's office, Crispin Goitia and Tatiana Sabine as well, and Sonia Makini, who's a medical student here at Mount Sinai, and of course the tremendous support and encouragement from Dean Friedman. The mission of this event was to bring together a cohort of people, including students, faculty, trainees, as well as other stakeholders in the New York City area, for a high-energy, exciting, fun event to explore solutions for surrounding management, monitoring, and treatment of pain and fatigue. And really what this is an effort to help to cultivate an ecosystem at Mount Sinai, really trying to foster this multidisciplinary, team-based health tech innovation culture, which Dean Charney has spoken about earlier, is really part of the fabric here at Mount Sinai. I want to go through give you a sense of what the event was. We ended up attracting about 70 103, I think, registrants from a range of backgrounds, including, of course, clinical experts, as well as bioinformatics, software and design experts, hardware developers. The first event was a panel discussion from clinicians to help sort of set the stage of the clinical problems focused on pain and fatigue. We also had representation from, does this work? From guest speakers describing some hardware technology such as wearable sensors, as well as software like and cloud technology like representatives from Salesforce and Persistent. And then the students had, the attendees had 1 minute to pitch their problem. And this was problems that either, in some cases, people came with an idea that they wanted to solve. In some cases, they were inspired by what they heard in the previous talks. And then the team and people, the other participants were listening and trying to figure out what excited them about what problems were being pitched. They had dinner and had a chance to mingle, and then had another minute to pitch what they thought a good solution would be. Then they had to get together and form teams, and by 11 p.m. that evening, they had to have a team that they were going to be working with for the rest of the weekend. And then Saturday happened. There was tremendous excitement. It's true at certain points it was very quiet, at certain points it was cacophonous. This was, you can see a range of examples here, very wearable sensors. One team actually brought their own portable 3D printer with them, and the traditional things like duct tape and scissors and things like that, of course, were a critical part as well. This was all fueled by 300 bananas, apples, and oranges, 268 bottles of water, 135 cups of coffee, and 4 cases of Monster drink. Then on Sunday, they had to finalize their design. They got a chance to pitch their ideas as a practice pitch to a panel of judges, including Louise Lammers here at Mount Sinai. Excuse me, Yash from Persistent. This is Benji Strauss, a student here who's had quite a bit of experience in terms of business development and entrepreneurship, and Pete Castellano from Hacking Health New York City, which is a network of innovators. Let's see, and then they had to get ready based on that feedback for their final presentation. And this is actually in the auditorium of the final presentation, finalizing that those PowerPoint slides, which I know that feeling. And then finally, they presented to a panel of experts, including clinicians. Ashish was on the panel as well. I don't know if he's here. This gentleman is a consultant with Janice's group, and also happens to be a stakeholder who suffers from cystic fibrosis, AIDS, and is dealing with pain and fatigue all the time. And Sam Sia here is the founding director of Houten Biospace, one of the biotech incubators here in New York City. And finally, we picked 3 winners, which took us about an hour of deliberation, to be honest with you, after all the scores came in. And so I would like to bring up whoever is here from the 3 teams. I guess one at a time. Maybe we'll start with the third prize winner. Oh, sorry, and there's one other thing I want to mention. An important part of this was follow-up after the event. We wanted the Mount Sinai MedMaker Challenge, the award ceremony, not to be the end of this event, but actually the beginning of an opportunity for these teams to continue to work together. There's a Twitter account that they're posting things on, keeping in touch with one another, and all of the sponsors offered to provide mentorship to teams who wanted to come back and continue to develop their ideas. And so, starting with third place, that went to a team called BioLumen. This was, maybe you guys can come up if there's anyone here. This was headed by George Maslow and his colleagues at the Mount Sinai Department of Rehabilitation Medicine. They also had somebody from two people, designers and engineers from the Lewin Studio, so this had an artistic component to this as well. And so BioLumen is a non-invasive biofeedback therapy that treats lumbar muscle tension, a component of chronic low back pain. The system analyzes electromyography of the back muscles and in real time to control room lighting, music, and more environmental factors in order to mitigate and manage lower back pain. And then the data from that session can be uploaded to electronic medical records for clinical review. The judges were really impressed by the innovative nature of this, and particularly the fact that they got, within 48 hours, a functioning sensor and a control device along with the software up and running. So congratulations to BioLumen. The second place team was called Sickle Me Not. This was directed by Joan Hoysak here at Mount Sinai. She is she's the director of the Pediatric Intensive Care Unit, as well as director of a pediatric pain team that she started here in 2002. A really long list of team members. I'm not going to name everyone, but they included soft programmers. Let's see here. There's the president of the TEDx Q.E.D. program, first-year medical student, really a multidisciplinary team. That's kind of the theme that we were going after, is bringing people together who wouldn't necessarily interact. Dr. Hoysak came to the MedMaker Challenge with this problem in mind and was looking for a solution. She was inspired by her own interaction with patients and was looking for a way to help address their pain issues. So this is Sickle Me Not is a multi-platform application for managing and engaging pediatric sickle cell patients. It interacted with the Salesforce Health Cloud, and really it was remarkable in the amount of time that they had an app that was a demonstratable functioning app by Sunday. So congratulations to Sickle Me Not. What's that? Congratulations. Okay. And the first prize, I don't know if you saw on the check there was a money prize with this as well. The third prize was $1,500, second was $2,500, and the first place prize of $3,500 went to a group called PT Partner. The lead of this team was John DeCapua. John, Taylor Davis, and Ryan and Dong Yao. These are second-year medical students here at Mount Sinai. Why'd you guys come on up? Second-year medical students here at Mount Sinai. They developed a system that was both hardware and software interface that's a wearable sensor. I don't know if you can see that here. The lighting is a little funny, but they've got a demonstration of a wearable sensor that was able to be used for adherence to high-quality physical therapy. Adherence to high-quality physical therapy greatly improves functional recovery and reduces chronic pain after knee surgery, such as total knee arthroplasty. So they created a wearable device that surrounds the knee and ankle joint, which can track the patient's physical therapy course via phone application and provide real-time feedback to the patient while they complete their therapy and report their important metrics of their therapeutic sessions to their care provider, such as completion of the scheduled exercise, range of motion, and so forth. Again, judges felt like this was a creative and impactful solution, and the progress during the weekend was impressive. And so congratulations to PT Partner for your first place win on this challenge. this weekend. We did. All right, and then Rama asked me to say something when I was done, and I forgot. Oh, so all the winners, I think you need to stick around for to take a photograph. Was that it? For the whole group, for not is for the whole event tonight. All the award recipients. That means you too, Dean Charney. And I think that's it. So thank you very much. We had a great time this weekend.
So one more round of applause for all of our winners. I also want to acknowledge Eric's slide indicated as well. Jones Day has been our premier and sole sponsor these last 2 years. They've been a great partner to MSIP and to Mount Sinai, so we want to acknowledge and thank them. A reminder, the main event tomorrow, SINAInnovations, starts at 8:30. The first lecture is after introductions by Dean Charney and Dr. Davis. The first lecture is called Dice Roth. We have a spectacular program. I caution you get there early. There are over 900 registrants, so it'll be full, and we hope to see you all there. I want to thank Dean Charney for all of his support for this and all the related innovation activities. Thank you again. We'll see you here next year and see you tomorrow morning. And again, awardees, please come down so we can take a whole group picture of all the winners. Thanks and good night.